Welcome everyone to the show. Today we have with us Deepak Padgaonkar, Vice President Solution Engineering at Salesforce India. Welcome, Deepak.
Thank you so much, Sunil. It's great to be with everyone.
Yeah. So I think I'll just start with the question straight away. So it's like I think now COVID is like behind us in the sense that it's been here for almost 1.5 years, and most of the tech trends have become permanent. Probably it's now a good time to look back at the last year and see the way forward. So, what has become permanent in the COVID world, and how have businesses changed as a result of all these changes? And what does the new normal look like from your point of view?
Brilliant. And Sunil, frankly speaking, this is everyone's personal experience, professional experience, as well as the story of how several companies have dealt with this. And there are a lot of very interesting things, A, from an observation as a Salesforce as an organization, and also what we also did with our companies, with our products, with our community, with our employees. So fairly interesting things. And I'll try to go in each of these areas in a bit more detail. Let's look at it when the actual pandemic started. When pandemic actually started, it was a very tactical response part that the organizations had to really do. I'll give you a very simple example. Government actually announced moratorium on EMIs for the financial services consumers as well as then the customers of ours who are in the financial services business. They had to make that immediate tactical shift. That was the first thing. Second, several organizations who were kind of doing their entire footprint of business on physical, they had to overnight think of changing it to phygital because there was no option but to have a fairly comprehensive digital engagement with the consumers, customers, business partners, even to execute the business orders, as well as from the employee's perspective. No one was able to travel, everyone had to work from home. So, employees working from home, giving them the right tools and technologies for them to be more efficient. So on all of these front, everyone started thinking about as well as grappling with, if I may use the word, as a shift when customers were trying to handle some tactical aspects, some of the things like low code platforms started playing important role. Other thing, transformation, digital transformation really started getting accelerated. Now, was that the right event which actually propelled the world or the organizations into the realms of digital transformation? Probably not the best. However, the reality is that each and every business is now thinking about digital transformation. Now, that's an umbrella word. But what we mean and what we have started observing is organizations are working and Salesforce being at the forefront on a very simple principle: success from anywhere. You can sell from anywhere, you can service from anywhere, and you can engage from anywhere. And that is what we have started seeing. And I think this success from anywhere actually is going to be the thing which is going to be there for a very, very long term. Employees will work from home, customers will engage more and more digitally, businesses will work on a lot of transformations whereby engagement, transactions, business processes will also get digital. More importantly, entire business will start getting more and more data driven, more and more intelligence driven, more and more process oriented. Decisions will be taken based on the data. Execution of many of those things will happen with the tools like artificial intelligence and the associated technologies, and remote working will actually become more prevalent. So, that in general is something which I would say world at large, businesses at large, or what are some of the things that we have observed over a period of last few months, as well as I would say more than a year now.
So that's quite a lot of changes, and like I think we are firmly on a new path.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
Yeah, so the you gave that answer. One thing you mentioned was low code. So I'd like to expand on that because low code has become a very hot topic. And but still, I mean, for the common man, what exactly is low code and how is it helping businesses? And the question to be asked is how easy is it for the common man and maybe the IT employee to adapt to it? Because you see, I talk to a lot of IT leaders. They talk of the term democratization of IT. So this probably will come under democratization of software development, and especially in the work from home era, everybody is working everywhere. So will it help if everyone, learns low code and uses it? So maybe if you can expand on that.
Oh, absolutely. So let me just tell you something about low code. See, what is low code? So low code basically is the development of business solutions by using the building blocks which are readily available. And when we say building blocks which are readily available, you can assume them to be chunk of code, which is available for whom? It is available maybe for the business users, business analysts, to put in general category non-IT team members, non-developers. They are focused on what? They are focused on their business process. They are focused on their outcomes, and they are focused on the analysis of the work that they are doing. That is their expectation. Technology is going to be an important aspect. So with the low code, the business users also would be able to leverage technology building blocks to define their business requirements, to deploy that on the platform of technology, and also start leveraging that for their business purposes. That at a very high level is probably something that we can talk about as a what's low code. Now, when it comes to a step further, what all things from a technology perspective which typically happen? See, someone has to develop, say, a process. There are workflows to be written, there are processes to be written, there are front ends to be created, and there are some actions which need to be taken. Very simply, right? With the help of low code, actually the business users would be able to create those business flows. Let me give you a very simple example. Many financial services who are into the lending business, they need to take a call and write a flow of how to go about approving a loan and identifying the right borrower. This particular aspect, business users can use the low-code platform and create that flow. When we talk about the processes, there are processes that need to be written, maybe a workflow process that a business needs to deploy, which traverses across various functions, as well as which possibly traverses across various steps and technologies. With the help of this low-code technology, business users would be able to write those processes. When I'm talking about the decision making as well as some of the predictions, today we have these technologies. I mean, just to name few Salesforce technology is called as predictions, Einstein predictions of Salesforce. Now, this technology allows the business users, based on the data that is available in the system, and predict what is going to happen. And what could be those predictions? Those predictions could be around consumers who are likely to take the product that your company is into, who are the best consumers or customers that the company should go after, who are the customers who may be not very happy with the current level of service, and what are things that as an organization you should be doing. Some of these are the predictions. And then a whole lot of today, you would have heard quite a lot about the bot-based engagements, etc. Interestingly, some of those aspects can also be categorized in the area of low code, where a business user now can leverage some of the technologies like artificial intelligence without really being a data scientist, as well as being an IT developer. So these are some of the examples, Sunil, that a low code can actually help and benefit the business users. Now that is second part. So the first part was what is low code. Second part is who can be benefited and what are the ways in which an organization and individual business users can get benefited. Now the third part, which was very relevant thing you asked about, This is a change. So what about the enablement or understanding of some of these things by the business users as well as by the organizations? So continuous learning is surely going to be very important for people who are supposed to acquire or who are required to acquire this new age technology knowledge to understand what these low-code technologies can do. So company like Salesforce has a platform called Trailhead. Now, that Trailhead as a platform is a learning experience platform for everyone. And for all the attendees, I would request if you can just go to trailhead.salesforce.com URL or Salesforce Trailhead. You will be able to understand how you can learn these new age things. And you very, very appropriately coined the term democratization. Democratization is providing the building blocks, providing the technology tools to the business users who can use them. But at the same time, this learning platform provides the ability for people to acquire those skills. And that's also democratization. Also, the technologies like artificial intelligence and few of the new age technologies are no more the ones which are in the area or of expertise of data scientists or very, very technologically advanced users. Because a lot of those things have already been taken care of, those can actually be leveraged by the business users. So that at a higher level, would I be mentioning about what this low code is, how business users and individuals can leverage, and how some of the aspects of learning, continuous enablement, and democratization are actually shaping up in the world.
Okay, so let's hope then technologies like low code can take this democratization process forward in the 2020s.
Oh, absolutely. Like I'll tell you, the one of the observations which I initially said, Sunil, is about the movement to the cloud as part of this digital transformation. Many customers, many organizations who have succeeded in this era of pandemic hit economies as well as challenging circumstances are the ones who had an ability to be nimble, and that ability to be nimble largely depended on their technologies. So the technologies like cloud played an important role, and same way the low code is also going to play an important role. So undoubtedly, these things are going to shape the way in which the world is going to democratize the technology.
So and then there's another, IT services. If you see the new, there hasn't been that people are talking of COVID technological changes, but the IT services, Indian IT services industry is really doing well. Despite all this, so what changes have come in the Indian IT services sector as a result of the COVID crisis, and where is it heading? And maybe if you can also talk about how Salesforce and its customers have adopted these changes with examples, if possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, now the question of what is happening in the IT services, that I'll come to later. But first, I will try to tackle or have a conversation about what are our observations, the way in which some of our customers have tried to kind of leverage the technologies and succeed in this era, right? I mean, we are fortunate to be having the customers in the country across all the verticals. Now, when we talk about financial services, we have pretty solid names, the leaders in this industry, as well as in many other verticals of automotive, as well as telecom and media. We are really fortunate to have a very, very strong set of customers in the new age, so-called, of retail, as well as technology-driven companies. Now, some of the customers, if I may name, say SpiceJet is one of the names of the customer. Now, SpiceJet has been leveraging or has been adopting Salesforce as a technology to serve its passengers better. I mean, SpiceJet is not a new name for any one of us. They are the leaders in the low-cost carrier, as well as probably one of the leaders in the transportation sectors also, right? Now, they were leveraging Salesforce service solution to address the needs of their customers. And what those needs are, it is through an omni-channel touchpoint, because the consumers can use telephone, can use social, can use email, any channel of their choice, and get in touch with the organization. They substantially improve a parameter called first call resolution, because in a first call, your enabled agent who is talking to the consumer can provide the right information. However, what happened is, as the pandemic started hitting, we know that airline and the hospitality industry was one of the majorly hit sectors, because flights were cancelled, the destinations had a problem, they had the lockdowns, etc. So a lot of consumer calls started coming in, and there were queries about the refund. There were queries about now what happens to their travel, and quite a few of them. All of us can also associate and identify with that. So this immediately increased the engagements, the conversation, and which actually brought the need to address all these things appropriately to the satisfaction of the consumers. And because this service solution works on single source of truth, manages omni-channel conversations, as well as manages the entire business processes fairly well, SpiceJet was able to address all these requirements very well. The other example is of one of the customers called GEP. GEP is actually into the business of providing supply chain solutions to the customers. Now, as pandemic started hitting, their customers started experiencing some new demands. Say one of the cereal companies had a demand, which was increased demand from the consumers. And they actually had to manage the kind of a stretch on their supply chains. There were other, maybe an electronic manufacturer also. They were also experiencing some of the pressures on their supply chains. And that made a lot of these business customers call up GEP continuously. And when those conversations started increasing, there had to be a solution which provides an ability to understand what the customer is saying, provide an appropriate answer and guidance. And again, with the help of the solutions from Salesforce, the conversations with the customer, the engagement with the customers continue. One of the examples, the another could be Redbus. Again, the name that all of us are aware of, because many of us have already used their services to book our tickets, to do our travels, etc., etc. Earlier, they were actually on a homegrown system, but such a high growth company had actually outgrown that particular software very, very quickly. And then obviously they had to look for a software which is a scalable platform and a solution which can cater to the needs of the new age consumers and their demands. And Redbus, with the help of again Salesforce solution, was able to manage all of these aspects fairly well. But these are some specific examples with the help of name that I just told you, Sunil. Now let me talk to you about the way in which consumers' engagement is changing with almost every brand and company in different fields. Let's look at our behavior when it comes to our conversation or our engagements with the automotive. Most of our automotive buying is entirely online. It is maybe only for the sake of test ride or some negotiations that we actually go or get a physical connect with maybe a dealer or the OEM, whatever may be our preference, or maybe third parties these days, right? So this entire digital journey of right from the time when the consumers are just about looking at option, when they are even unknown to the organizations or the OEMs, from the time of they being unknown to they considering the brand, and then subsequently going through the entire process of getting a new product, is all now digital. And I'm very happy to say that quite a few automotive customers in India also are working with us, whereby they are kind of providing that an amazing digital first, phygital, and a comprehensively seamless experience to all the consumers, because that's the need of the hour. That's the transformation. Now, these are some of the observations. And let me tell you, no sector is untouched. It may be retail, we are completely aware. We have the customers who are leveraging Salesforce solutions to manage the engagements and the business transactions with the consumer. Because online selling, or what we may want to call it as an online commerce, has become a new mantra. Even the customers in non-metro cities are also adopting the technologies of commerce. And we are happy that Salesforce has been part of some of these revolutions happening in our country. Now, let me talk to you about the services part of that. Our observation has been, I mean, though I really don't have complete expertise to talk about what exactly has transformed in the services sector, the observation is customers are now demanding quick innovations, quick transformations. Gone are the times where there used to be multi-year projects, where customers used to wait for multi-year projects for their businesses to see the benefit of transformation using technology. And that demand is getting translated to the service providers. And what I must say is that I have seen in my experience, whichever partners and the ecosystem players that we work with, they are also rising to the occasion. They are also working very, very closely with companies like Salesforce as well as their customers. And this entire ecosystem is kind of becoming more nimble, using best of the technology, and really, really delivering the business results faster. I mean, that is the change in the orientation that has been our observation. So that's a little bit about some of the trends that we have been seeing here, Sunil.
Yeah, sure. So I think I'll ask one last question, a specific question about Salesforce India. So how would you say Salesforce India has handled the new normal with with reference to the work from home policies, change in processes, and handling client needs?
Brilliant. See, Salesforce India, and I'll answer this in two parts. One is Salesforce and Salesforce India. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about Salesforce India also is because we probably are second biggest center of excellence outside of the US globally. This is a very large company now with more than 55,000 employees globally, as well as very, very strong number of employees, 4,000 plus in India also. And we are in various fields. We are in the area of distribution. We are in India, I'm talking about. We have a sales and distribution. We have tech support as well as product development also. So a fairly sizable presence in India and globally also, I mean, name to reckon with when it comes to the cloud digital transformation as well as overall IT industry behemoth, right? So when it comes to managing the new normal, obviously we have to work with our employees, our customers, as well as overall our ecosystem. Let me start by talking about, as an organization, our customers expect innovations coming to them from us continuously. Our customers were expecting from us that you provide us capability to handle the new normal or the era in which we are, where we have to manage this pandemic, where we have to manage, return safely to the work. And that's when we actually started coming out with appropriate solutions. So work.com set of solutions are the ones which help organizations manage, return safely to the work. We actually delivered that product. Today, when the entire world is actually focusing on vaccinating their citizens, employees, Salesforce has come out with Vaccine Cloud solution, which actually is serving many organizations, many governments. And that's really something which we continue to do from our products perspective. There are quite a few things which we have done as a product innovation. However, apart from that, when it comes to employees, obviously employees have started now working from home. We actually have been at the forefront, even to tell that for a longer term, what's the way in which our organization is going to work with some set of employees entirely working from home, certain section of employees on a flexi basis, coming office sometimes as per the need, as well as working from home. And there will be some staff which will be completely working from the office. And so also some who will be completely working from their homes. And we actually have even told our employees that you can decide to work flexibly, at least until 31st of December 2021. So this, as an organization, we kind of worked with our employees for their well-being. For the customers, whatever our customers needs, when they had to either deploy technology for the immediate requirements of world in pandemic, I gave you certain examples. We worked with them, with our platform, as well as with our ecosystem, working with the customers to help them leverage the technology to deploy the right capability to address this new normal. And I must say that this will continue to be the way. There are going to be the ways in which the companies now will continue to work. And that is where we now clearly are saying succeed from anywhere. So with our customers, what we are telling is sales from anywhere, because our customers use our solution to do some important things. Sell from anywhere, service from anywhere. When I say sales from anywhere, this is a new era of digital sales, where all the collaboration, engagement, and transactions are going to happen entirely digital. And that's where we kind of have now come with the relaunched tools of our technologies of anywhere sales or service from anywhere and overall success from anywhere. So that's how Salesforce globally as well as locally has worked on getting the right products, working with the customer to help them build the right solutions, as well as working with the employees to provide them right technologies to work remotely, as well as now and also in future, providing them the ability to work efficiently in this new norm. So these are some of the things, Sunil, I would say are some of the things which we observed at Salesforce.
Okay, so anyway, thank you for those detailed analysis and roadmap ahead. I think we covered quite a lot of topics. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your time also, Sunil. Really enjoyed having this conversation.
Yeah, okay, great.